see them on the program. And for the platforms, especially for the program, you can access the program through our meta page, but we also have the very robust platform known as Eventyay. If you have been attending Wikimania or paying attention to what's going on, we had a very good experience with Eventyay in Singapore in 2023. Then in 2024 in Poland, those who are online were able to use Eventyay. But then those who also went for the youth conference in Arusha in July were able to experience it. So it allows you to curate your events, and it's well laid out aesthetically, and it has a multitude of features that can enhance the quality of your participation and contribution to the conference. And then streaming will also be available, but it will be available for specific rooms. So with that in mind, we will cakewalk into WikiIndaba 2024. And we will also then, we are going to upskill ourselves. And it is at this point that you can share the questions you have about the program. In the interest of time, I'll still be here for a long while, but you can share the questions that you have about the program in the chat area and we can deal with it. But we can take a 1-minute break as we switch over to Mario Billing and Elena Lappen from the Wikimedia Foundation, who are going to take us through the platform that we know or we have come to know and experience. And this platform is known as Eventyay. Mario and Elena, the floor is yours.
Yes, hello, and yeah, thank you very much, Alice and everyone, for setting up this meeting. And it's an honor to be part of this event from the Eventyay side, which is also developed by a global community and started by the FOSS Asia community. So that's great to have this cooperation. So I would like to share my screen. Please give me the rights to do that. I'm Mario here in the call. I still see host disabled attendee screen sharing. Not sure how I can get it. Okay, now I have the rights. Thank you very much. And I will go to this ticket shop that we have set up. So I also share the link here in the chat. Yeah. So basically, currently this ticket shop is still on a test stage, and if you confirm everything is okay after this meeting, we can just make it into the live stage, and it's very simple. You see a few options, and currently we decided to have only the virtual ticket this year, so for external participants to log in and access all the information and the stream that will be there from one of the rooms. And how it works is straightforward. I will show you. So currently I'm not logged in, so I don't even have like an account. So I will just click on add to cart here on the right hand side, and the ticket will be reserved for me for 30 minutes, and I can now continue. And I have the option to either log in with an existing customer account or, for example, create a customer account. So it's only name and email needed to do that. But I already have an account, so it's just like email and password. And I can just click continue. If not, you just enter your data here and you can continue the process right away. You will receive an email and just click the email to confirm your access. Okay, so let's click continue. I can see the checkout. So checkout that there's no payment needed. So it will only show the basic information. I will give my name, Mario, and billing. And I can also say what is my wiki username. For example, I'm quite transparent, and I can choose a country here. So let's say the event is in South Africa, and today I feel like a South African. So I mean, usually you should just enter the place where you are from, right? But in order to support here this, you can choose South Africa, or I can just say, actually, I am from Germany, right? I am from Germany, so I will write the real thing in here. I am from Germany. Okay, so enter, continue. And I review my order. There's not much information. Like I can just go submit registration, and that's it. And if you have just registered your account, you will receive a link, and you have to click that link to in your email, and then see it. So you already see a join online event button here. And this is to show people where they can in future then join the online event. But currently this button doesn't work yet because we need to release the schedule publicly first, and then you can also access the information. You can download your ticket here, but it's not really necessary because this is for online access. If you're unsure where is the information, you can click here also on the top right, and then access whatever you need. Okay, so how does it look like though now if you go to the back to the page, and we see here, I'm going back in time, we see here like the schedule, sessions, speakers, and tickets. So as I said, the schedule is currently not released. At least I wonder maybe after the meeting, probably you will make a public release of the schedule, but I can show already how it looks like in a preview. So I'm switching the tab here and I'm sharing this tab now here. So as you can see, you're currently viewing editable version unreleased schedule. So this is a preview for the organizers here. So there's a very nice background here on the top. And then you will see like tracks, rooms, types, and the time zone. You can actually change the time zone, and you can have a number of filters here and then clear the filters then. And you have all the 3 days, October 4th, 5th, and 6th. And you can kind of scroll through it and access all the information. So pretty straightforward and very good for the people on site. For the people off site, they have to click online, the join online event button, which I just shared to you. And when they join the online event button, they will see something like this here. I have a test event here for you. So they will another window or another tab will open, and they can then access the same schedule like that we just saw, but they have the information, for example, like about English or a new session. And on the left-hand side, they can receive more information. They can have speakers information and so on. And they can also click, for example, here on the left hand, then to the okay, that's a video from the Wikimania event, a test video. So you can then like click on the left-hand side, the link to the room that will be streamed. And if you have any comments, you can also chat with other participants here. Hi, everyone. Yeah, just communicate with other people. Alice, I don't know if you have capacity to take questions from online participants. Maybe you can test that so people can actually also ask a question. I have a question, and then ask your question, submit your question, and it will be shown then after moderator approves it. So these are the options, and yeah, that is also the important thing is for all online participants, they should, as quickly as possible, get their ticket here and ensure they can participate online. I think we will share that through all different channels now in the upcoming days. I hope that was a good and quick run through for you and you understood anything. And if you have any questions, please ping me. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Mario. I would like to invite some questions from the audience. I know some of us have had experience with Event Yay. I do not know if we have been able to use the full range of features available, but then some things could have come up during your past experiences. Ladies and gentlemen, Mario and Elena are still here. Excuse me. They'll take a few questions. We can move on to the next part that we've shared the resources with. Okay, so Elena, you say this is the interface for the live event. And if you registered for the virtual event, in the morning before the event begins, you get an email with a button to join the live event, and it will bring you to the interface. Thank you so much, because I only just used to use it to view things. I wasn't even really aware. I'm just what they call an underuser, if there's such a thing as that. Ladies and gentlemen, are there any questions related to the use of Eventia, or are we comfortable? Bobby, please unmute yourself.
I'm not sure if maybe this is I can ask, in this time around about this question, but I wanted to know, how do you listen to a different language, like maybe French?
All right. Like if there are language channels within the
Yes,
session.
yes.
All right.
Yes, very good question. So I will just switch to the right tab. So 1 second. So I think you can see the tab here, and with the video. So you can actually click here on the top, on the bottom below the video, and we will have the French option then here as well. So there are live interpreters from the community and from the team who are assigned, and yeah, they will just interpret. I'm not going into the details of the functionality of the interpretation component. We will align with the interpreters separately on this. But for the attendees, for the people who participate in the event, they can just click here, French or English. So we have always the original language, and we will list French or English here. So if the original language is English, then you need to click on original. If the original language is French, then you need to click on original. So we only then use the additional channel for the actual translation or interpretation, however you want to call it. Yeah.
Tell you the truth, I don't know the difference between translation and interpretation. I'm going to check it out after here. Harshal, I saw your hand up. Okay, Elena has clarified, similar to how Zoom works. Harshal, please share your question with us.
I just wanted to find out if there are any people that made submissions to the programs team and were accepted, that will be presenting online, and if they were, how would that work in Eventia?
Right. So you're wondering how they can access the platform as speakers.
Yeah, so
That's great.
I think the information that we have is that we don't have really people who are presenting off site, so from online. But what we have to be aware is that if you have hybrid events, online and on-site, you always need additional people to also run the speakers through it. So we recommend, if you have anyone who is online, that they pre-record their session, and we just then add the session into the program, and they should also be there to answer any questions that people have. And that's actually great if the talk runs and people can even answer questions while the talk is running.
And Mario, can I just jump in quickly for those people? Because basically what Eventia does is it takes the stream that's happening live in the room and makes it available for a virtual audience. So in this case, we have pretty much all of the speakers in the room there. So they're just going to be the camera's going to be there with them, and then the stream is going to go out to all of the attendees on Event.yay. So if you're trying to present virtually, like Mario said, better to pre-record a video that we can then just use Event.yay to send out to the virtual speakers. But you'll join as an attendee. So you can join, like in this interface, you would join, you'd be watching your own video, and you'd be here in the chat. Mario already indicated where the chat is. It's in the bottom right. That way you can see virtual participants interacting with your video, and you can be there answering questions as the video is playing and when the video finishes. So that's what we'd recommend. Submit a video and then register for the virtual event as an attendee, and then join, and you can be there participating in chat with people as they're watching the video.
Okay. There's another question here for I think Elena and Mario, you'll best answer it for us. Ruby wants to know if sessions will be recorded and made available on YouTube, like we see for Wikimania. Is that possible through Event.yay?
Yes, that is correct. So actually, the videos, the idea is also to stream the videos at the same time on YouTube. And the difference is that, it's not possible to ask questions on YouTube within the event. So, and you can't really chat with people on YouTube here with the event. Of course, YouTube also has chat features and different kinds of features to enable communication among viewers. However, we feel it is a bit complicated to direct people to different platforms. And also, there's always the question of trust and safety and of connecting people really in a cohesive way. So that's why we have the platform. But if you just want to watch and you think like maybe it's challenging or you don't really want to ask any questions and rather follow up with speakers, maybe in other channels in the Wikimedia community or Wikipedia community, wherever you like, then just go to YouTube, and there's a WikiIndaba channel on YouTube, which I believe the team will also share widely on social media.
Thank you very much. Ruby, in addition to that, yes, Indaba has a YouTube channel, and many of these sessions will still be available for viewing within and out of Indaba. Let me see if there are other questions here.
Yeah.
All right, Harshal says a
So,
very big thank you.
Alice,
That makes sense.
yes, Alice, and I just want to add one thing. So this is actually the first time that we are trying this, and you always need people in the room. You need to video. You need a good sound. So let's not underestimate the effort, and a big kudos from to the team also to take this on locally. But I think at this event, it will not be possible to actually record every single session yet. However, I'm sure after the experience we gain in this event in future, it will be much easier. It's a big learning experience, and everyone will get on board and will, of course, improve in future even more.
Right. Thank you very much. And we are willing to share this experience with you even as we build up to the next events that will require us to use Event.yay. Ladies and gentlemen, are there any questions that you still have about Event.yay, or do you think they will come during the sessions? All right, I see that there are no questions now. Maybe they will come. And if they are technical and beyond us, Mario and Elena, we will be sure to involve you. We still wish to thank you so much for your support before and now and even during the session. So ladies and gentlemen, that was Mario and Elena from Mario from FOST Asia and Elena from the Wikimedia Foundation, and they have been or are still our primary support when it comes to using the platform for events. In the event that you have any questions, you can share them with us, or you can share them with them directly in the chat. But Mario and Elena, you are free to take your leave for the day. Thank you. Okay, so what's going to follow is a speakers clinic. We've been here for close to an hour, so we are going to take a 5-minute break or 4-minute break, and then come back at the top of the hour to begin our speakers clinic. Thank you very much, Mario. To begin our speakers clinic, I'm going to share the resources that we had shared before, but if you did not have a chance, or maybe you've not downloaded them, we are going to share them again in the chat area. And in the speakers clinic, this is for individuals who submitted something, and we are not teaching anything new, but we are just going through what it is that we intend to present and polish it so that we can give some very quality presentations come the conference days. So we are going to take a few minutes off, and at the top of the hour exactly, we will start again. Thank you very much.
I think it's a wrong impression because things
Okay, so we are back. I trust that everybody has been able to, get up, stretch their legs, get a cup of tea, get a cup of coffee, answer the door, prepare a meal, shift their chair, get their camera right, sit more comfortably, whatever it is that you can comfortably fit in 5 minutes. Also, they were not five really, but I gather that we've been able to do that. Eugene, please start the recording of the session. So now we move on into part 3 of our first pre-conference, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that the next, they're really not a guest presenter. I don't know what word to use for them, but you know them. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that Asaf can take over with the speakers clinic. Like I mentioned, the speakers clinic is not somewhere, it's not something to instruct. It is a place in which we come with questions, come with our work, receive feedback, and fine tune our work so that we are able to deliver something that is of a good quality to the community that we are sharing with. Speaker training and speaker clinics are not new at all. They've been happening for the past Wikimanias. And also now we have this experience for us in WikiIndaba 2024. So Asaf, I'll hand over the virtual mic to you.
Thank you, Alice. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon. I hope you have had a chance to watch the training video, which covered some principles of public speaking in general and of preparing a Wikimania talk. That's what it was recorded for, Wikimania, but the principles are the same for any wiki meeting. How many of you have had that chance? If you could do some emoji or something, or write in the chat just so that I have an idea. If you haven't had a chance, as Alice said, we won't be going over all of it here because it's recorded and it's available to you, and you should just watch it when you have a moment. But this space is specifically for people who have an outline of their talk that they're going to give very soon at WikiIndaba, and they would like to share it or ask a question about it or ask for ideas on how to improve it. That is the clinic aspect of this session. It's a clinic in the sense that you bring your case and we all together try to help you or give you feedback if you want it. So I see only a few of you have had a chance to watch the video, but I hope nonetheless, some of you have outlines of your talk. I know it is very customary to only prepare your talk at the very last minute. That is long and honored tradition. But still, this session is, again, for the benefit of helping you prepare better for the topic that you want to cover, for the message that you want to get across at WikiIndaba. So I hope at least some of you have something that they would like to share with us or ask a question about, and we will do our best to be a supportive audience and to help you improve it even further. So with this preface, who would like to share their talk outline, their subject, and ask a question or ask for feedback? You can, of course, do this in French, and I will hear the interpretation on the English channel.
Also, Asaf, just to also give you an idea, a number have prepared their slides because we asked participants to prepare their slides and submit them before time. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have been in my DMs or in my inbox sharing your work, now is a good opportunity to share it because it's eventually going to be seen by the community. So, this is a safe space. It's not the time to feel shy.
No one? So let me give you examples of what I mean. Maybe it's not, the invitation is not very clear. What I mean is if you have a talk, whether it's a lightning talk or a 30-minute talk or an hour discussion, that talk should have a purpose, a goal that you can say in one sentence. And if you, right now, if you don't know the one sentence version of what the goal of your talk is, that's a problem. Because if you just know, yeah, you know what it's about, you know the things you're going to say, but you don't know the goal, you don't know why. Why are you telling us all this? What is your goal in telling us all these details about this project or this plan? If you don't know your goal, you won't know if you have succeeded. And if you don't know your goal, your talk may feel aimless, right? The people in the audience may not know exactly that. Like, why is this person telling us all this? What are we supposed to understand out of it? So that's the first step, right? Is to have a goal, to have an idea of why you're telling this, because having clarity on that, having this phrased as a single crisp sentence in our minds can help us with everything else. It can help us design the outline for the talk. It can help us decide what belongs in the talk and what is unnecessary detail or context that doesn't belong in the talk because it doesn't serve the goal, the purpose. It can help us pick the right examples, etc. So that's one example of a principle that is covered in the training that most of you have not watched that you can apply here. So would any one of you like to at least share that? What is the goal of the talk that you intend to deliver at WikiIndaba? And that can be the basis for a conversation. After you tell us what your goal is, we can ask, or you can show us the outline of the talk, the main slides or the main topics that you're going to cover, and we can see how that serves that goal. I hope that is clearer, and I hope you want to make use of this opportunity. If you don't, we can move on to the next item in the agenda. Crickets. Okay. Then I'm sorry I could not be of more help. I do encourage you to watch that recorded training. Maybe you're too shy to share here. That's a shame because this is an opportunity to get feedback from an experienced public speaker. But that's okay if you are. Just watch the video and see what you can get from that, at least. Alice?
Yes, Asaf, I was about to ask two things. Personally, I've not yet prepared my slides, but I do have an outline in my head. And from most of the work that I have seen submitted, it's really lightning talks and some slides submitted for panel discussions. And I'm not here to evaluate them, but I'm going to talk basing on what it is that I want to present during that time. So my presentation is going to focus on giving the audience an update on the campaign that is One Lead, One Ref, because there have been a number of changes and no changes at the same time to the campaign during the years that it has been in existence. I get stuck at the point after which I explain what is this campaign and what does it do. And I find that there's a lot of information out there about the things that people are doing that have changed the campaign in their locale. And I do not know how to incorporate it without bloating my slides and also reading verbatim and just saying, oh, in Kenya, they did 1, 2, 3, because that's a challenge that I always have. I prepare the slides and I know the context, but I end up reading out the words verbatim.
Yeah, thank you for this question. That's another great example of the kind of feedback you can get in this live session. So thank you for showing the way. In your description, I already hear the potential for two different talks, or rather two different purposes for the talk. On the one hand, you say there have been all kinds of changes to One Lib, One Ref that you want to inform people about. On the other hand, statistically, it is very likely that most of your audience has not participated in One Lib, One Ref yet, which means the changes are meaningless to them because they didn't know the old way anyway. So the fact that something has changed is meaningless to them. What would be meaningful is just to know what One Lib, One Ref is like now. But they don't need this information of what has changed, right? Whereas people who have been involved before do need this, or it may interest them to know this has changed now. And in this sense, I hope you are following me. There are two potential audiences here. There are two potential groups who have different needs and who ideally would be served by a different kind of outline. Now, what do? Our audience at WikiIndaba is going to be mixed. Presumably, there would be some people who have participated in One Lib, One Ref. Those are the people who would want to hear about the changes. And there would be other people, my guess, the majority, who have not. What do? How do we serve such a mixed audience? My advice is to go with the numbers and to prepare a talk that addresses a general audience. In other words, that does not focus on the changes, but focuses on what we want to tell a general audience, and maybe towards the end also deliver some information about changes for the benefit of the subset of the audience that could use them. But this general audience, that brings us back to the purpose. What is it that you want to tell the general audience, people who have not been involved in One Lib, One Ref yet? What is the goal of your talk to them? What would you like them to take or understand or act on after your talk?
Thank you very much for that, Asaf. Now, let me also engage you on something that has come to not our attention, but we've seen it a lot, where there are different submissions that more or less talk about the same thing. And the advice is to merge, because people are talking about the same thing. Merge, give them more time, and see what they can make of the time that they have. And I see a number of people here who have merged sessions, so it would do them well to speak after me. And the common refrain is, what do we do? How do we structure what it is that we want? This was never the original session type that we want. So what kind of advice or tips do you have for sessions where people have been encouraged to merge beyond the get together, put your heads together and come up with something for that time?
Yeah, thank you. That's another good question. honestly, merging sessions makes a lot of sense from the program committee's point of view, right? As you say, there are several people who have proposed sessions on very similar topics, and it just makes sense to say, well, let's have them merge, let's have them join together and do a panel or a joint presentation of some sort. It makes sense from a program point of view. So it makes sense for the program committee, and maybe it makes sense for the audience as well to have a single session with more perspectives, etc. However, it is actually much harder for the speakers, especially if they are less experienced speakers who may have a hard enough time building their own presentation, but when they're just told, go and merge with these two other people, how do we do that? It requires a degree of collaboration and initiative that not everyone has, or boldness or overcoming shyness. We see a lot of shyness in this room today here. So it can actually be harder if the program committee just tells you go and merge with these other people. The way to go about it, I think, is still based on the same principles covered in the video. Start with the why. Start with a goal. Why is it that you want to tell people about your project? Can you give me an example of the shared topic that you asked people to merge, just so we have a concrete example?
Yes, I can give you an example, but I'm also going to ask the individuals involved to speak up if they can. So there's the Wiki Wake Up Afrique initiative, and Wiki Wake Up Afrique needed to talk about, how can I say, how they've been building communities within Francophone Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wikimedia Madagascar, and I see Andrea is here. She can explain more. Also wanted to talk about their experience of community outreach and building under Wiki Wake Up Afrique initiatives. And the same thing also happened with Gabon. I do not see the representative from Gabon, but they reached out and they were wondering what next. I can give you another example too. There was also a session about administration of user groups, day-to-day management and administration of user groups. So I see Emmanuel from Ivory Coast. She's part of a panel that will be together with our colleagues from Morocco. And many of the questions revolved around, so what do we do? This is what we had planned. What next? Andrea and Emmanuel, you can speak up too.
Okay.
As if they are shy, just go ahead. They are shy.
Okay. Shyness is a waste of an opportunity.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, hello.
Yes, it's Angia from Madagascar.
Pleased to meet you.
Yes, I don't speak English correctly, but maybe I can speak French, and maybe Cecil
Yes, you can.
Translate
You
it.
can. You can. We have translation. You can speak French.
Yes. Our presentation is about notre présentation. On nous a dit que ce sera une session session conjointe. Du coup, j'ai posé une question dans le mail. Comment devrait se dérouler la présentation?
Okay. Yeah. So as Thank you, Andrea, for speaking up. And as Alice said, the subject is shared, so it kind of makes sense to merge, but how do we actually do it? So my advice, again, is to start with the purpose and see if you and the other people you are supposed to merge with can agree on the purpose of the session, the purpose, the reason why. Because if you can agree on that, you can probably agree on everything else. You can build a session that serves that purpose. Now, for example, you're doing outreach efforts. You're doing outreach efforts in Madagascar, and separately there was a session that's talking about the whole project in a Pan-African perspective, maybe, and there was another one from Gabon, right? So each one of you has different things to say. You have things that are specific to Madagascar. The person from Gabon has things that are specific for Gabon. The person who's talking about the overall program has things that are relevant to the overall program. These are different things. But if we agree on a shared purpose for the talk, we can make progress. Now, what could be the purpose of that talk? Why are you telling us about your efforts in Madagascar? What is your goal in sharing what you've done? And I want to mention that a very common pitfall, a very common mistake that people make is simply giving a chronology, simply walking the audience through, first we thought this, and then we decided that, and then we planned this thing, but it didn't work out, so we had to try this other thing. But then the guy said the venue was not available, so we had to change, and then we did this, and then after that, and here's how many people joined. You know, all the steps that you went through, all the difficulties, etc. And it's natural to want to say this because it feels like, well, that's my experience. I'm sharing my experience, right? This is what happened. But that is a limited perspective. If we put ourselves in the audience's shoes, in the place of the audience, we need to think about what would serve the audience. What can they take from it, especially considering our audience is not from Madagascar, right? You're from Madagascar, everyone else is not. The person from Gabon is from Gabon, everyone else is not. So what can they take from your experience, considering they are not going to do outreach in Madagascar or Gabon, right? They are doing things in their countries, they're doing things in their contexts. What can your context give them that is useful for them? Okay, it's a different question than just tell us what happened, tell us what you've done. It's not tell us what you've done, it's tell us something useful that you can extract from everything you've done. Tell us a lesson. Tell us something you've learned that at least potentially could be useful for the rest of us. And it doesn't have to be like only successes, only shiny things. By all means, you can share mistakes, but share it in a way that is reusable, right? In other words, if you just tell us, we wanted to do the event, but in the end, there was rain and we had to cancel it. Okay, that's just something that happened. Is there something we can learn from it? I'm not sure. But if you tell us something like, we wanted to do the event, but then there was rain and we had to cancel it. Now we think that we should have planned a plan B for in case of rain, to have an alternative venue, or to have a plan what we might do that wouldn't be outdoors or that wouldn't require whatever, right? Like if you manage to transform something that simply happened into a lesson, into a conclusion, into a learning, as they like to say in American English, if you can do that, that's already offering some value to your listeners. I hope this example was clear. So when you are thinking about what you want to say about the work you've done in Madagascar and how you might merge that with whatever the person from Gabon wants to say about the work they've done in Gabon, and whatever the person from the overall program wants to say, start by getting together, make a call or a social media or instant messaging group or any other communication channel you like. And first begin by talking about what is the purpose of your talk. And you could have many purposes. It could be an experience sharing purpose in the sense that we want to offer lessons for other people who are trying to do outreach so they can learn from our mistakes and also from our successes. That's one kind of purpose. Another kind of purpose might be a call to action, like we want more people to join our project. That's a different purpose. I hope you agree. Like attracting people to join a project is not the same purpose, and it's not the same talk, it's not the same outline, and it's not the same rhetoric as a lessons learned, successes and failures kind of talk. It's a different vibe, it's a different tone, right? If you want to attract people to join your project, you have to spend a lot more time on the why than the what, right? You have to spend time inspiring people with the why. Why are you doing this project? And why is this an exciting project to join? Why is it a worthwhile use of their time? What benefits are there for them as participants? What skills they might build? What opportunities does it include? What sense of satisfaction can they expect from participating in this project? Do you see? Just that answer to the purpose. If my purpose is to attract people to join my project, to volunteer with me, to sign up for something, that's a different kind of talk. It's a different kind of rhetoric that I would employ than a session sharing best practices, worst practices, mistakes. That's a different kind of session. And there are other sessions, right? You could also have a discussion session where there is a problem or an issue and you are genuinely trying to collect more views from the communities, right? It's not that you have something you want to share. It's on the contrary, you have an issue that you want input on. You want to draw input from people. Again, that's a third kind of talk with a third kind of rhetoric and a third kind of tone. I hope you're following me. Maybe
Yes.
Can we stop the screen share
so I
can see?
Thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I can see. If any of you do little emojis or something, I'll be able to see that you're following me. So yeah, I'm giving these examples of how a lot can flow or be derived from a sense of purpose. If we know why we're having this talk, we can. For example, like I said, if our goal is to attract people to a project, that's not the time to share lessons learned, right? That's the time to focus on why is this a good idea? What difference does it make in the world? What is the impact? To bring testimonials, right? To bring evidence of people who have participated and think it's great, or of the real world impact that it has had, of what partners are saying, what, I don't know, graduates of the training are saying, to get people excited about why this is a worthwhile use of their time. And this is one of the biggest questions in motivating people everywhere, not just in Africa, is answering the implicit question. People won't always ask you literally, hey, why is this worth my time? But even if they don't ask this with their words, their minds are always asking this. Whenever you're in a room, whenever you're in a session, and it's not just about the project that you're talking about, it's even about the session. Like, should I listen to this person or should I check Facebook, right? The first thing you have to answer when you start your talk is, why is this relevant to me? Should I even be listening to this? Which is why, and this is also covered in the training video, you should start with what we call there a hook. Start with something that, like a hook, captures the attention of the audience. And there are many types of hooks that are described in the video. You can start with a question, though that's a somewhat challenging start, because when you start with a question, you're inviting input. People want to speak. It may take up more time than you plan. People may give answers that sort of throw you in a very different direction. So I would actually recommend starting with a question only for more experienced speakers. Another kind of hook is starting with some surprising or funny fact, or sort of rhetorical question, like, did you know that, and then start with some amazing fact. For example, if you're doing a project that's about the gender gap in content, right? Like how little content relatively we have about African women, or yeah, let's take that example. You could start with a statistic, a fact, like, I don't know, did you know that English Wikipedia only has articles about, I don't know, 4 women mathematicians from Africa? I just made that up. I don't know how many exactly there are, but you could find out and then use that fact and say, really, in all of Africa, only 4 women mathematicians? Why is that? Let's look into that a little, right? And you got their attention, right? That can be a hook. You got people, at least people who care about gender, etc., are going to be activated by this question. Really? 4? Can that be? That is interesting. Why? Why is that? What can be done about it? Right? That is the hook. It gets people to make that first important decision. This is a person I should listen to. This is a session I should pay attention to, and Facebook can wait. Right? So this is the hook. It's related to the purpose, but it's about how to get attention in the first place. So I hope this was useful in a somewhat long answer to the question of how to merge sessions. See if you can start by agreeing on the purpose. And if you agree on what is your shared goal in the session, you can then say, okay, so if we want to, I don't know, share lessons learned about outreach, I will share specific lessons about Madagascar. You will share specific lessons about Gabon. Let's make sure we don't repeat each other, that we share different lessons. And then the other person will share sort of overall lessons about coordinating this program across Africa, for example. So any other questions?
I'd like to interject, Asaf. Excuse my voice. Emmanuel, I think you also had a shared session and you submitted some slides. Would you like some feedback on that for now?
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Alice. Yeah, we have a panel program, a panel with people from Wikimedia Maroc, and we have to speak about how to organize or how to manage a Wikimedia user group. This is the topic of our team, and I don't have any question. As for we had a meeting to organize us and also how we will present the panel, how people will interpret this panel. So for now, we are okay.
I'm really glad to know that you are okay and that you are fully confident of how this session is going to go. And obviously, you've shared something that we all neglect. I think when we proposed that sessions are merged, that the bit of meeting is always given a little percentage of the time. So I am glad that you are able to lay that groundwork, and we look forward to seeing you in South Africa. Is
Thank
there anybody here? You are welcome, Emmanuel. We'll see you then. Anyone else who has submitted anything? Anybody who's going to be part of a workshop and would like some feedback on what it is they think that they're going to be doing? Martin, I saw you were very happy at some point and you have a presentation about Namibia. Do you have the outline in your head so that we could get some feedback for it right now?
Yes, Alice, how's everyone? Yes, I was happy to get that chance. Yeah, I think I do have the outline, but I still have to work on my slides. But then the previous the what just Asaf mentioned at the beginning, I think it helped me in reorganizing thoughts and really bringing it to one crystal sentence to say what is the purpose of our talk. Actually, our talk, our presentation is on librarians on the forefront of on the forefront of establishing a Wikimedia community user group in Namibia. So we are going to share those experiences and why do librarians need to encourage more librarians to come and really take up these spaces. And yeah, that is the thing of our line, and that is the thing of the outline of our presentation. I think that's all what I can say for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. I heard you say two things. I heard you say the subject of your talk, right, is about how librarians are at the forefront of open knowledge, etc. And then I heard you say what the purpose was, right? The purpose is different from the subject. The subject is what is this about, but the purpose is the why. Why are you telling us this? What do you hope to achieve by telling us this? And I think what I heard you say is that the why is to encourage people to get more librarians involved, right?
Yes.
To get more librarians involved in Wikimedia. Now, what follows from that why, what follows from that purpose is the question of who am I speaking to? What is our audience? Again, that's covered in the training and in the PDF that was shared as well, the speaker guidebook. So the audience at WikiIndaba, I expect, again, statistically, would mostly be non-librarians, right? Some are librarians, like the incomparable Alice, but others are not. Most of the people you will be speaking to are not librarians. They're not in this world. They don't speak librarianese, right? They don't speak the terms of libraries. They don't live the life of the library science and library sector, which means, again, if I were you, I would design my talk not as a talk aimed at librarians, like why should you librarians get involved with Wikimedia, but rather I would design my talk to target non-librarian Wikimedians to try to help them learn how to talk to librarians in an effective way, how to appeal to librarians, right? Since you have that experience, you have worked with librarians. I don't know, maybe, are you yourself a librarian?
Yes, I'm a librarian. I work with librarians, yes.
Great. So you are in a position, right, to tell them, as a librarian, as someone who has worked with librarians in the Wikimedia context, let me tell you what is effective and what is not effective in getting librarians involved. I'll give you a very short anecdote to illustrate. I once saw a Wikimedian in a very different part of the world have the chance to meet the director of the National Library of their country. And what they did when they had the attention of the director of the National Library was they tried to teach them to edit Wikipedia. Like literally, like here is the edit button, and this is how you make italics, and this is how you make bold, and this is how you insert a link. That was not the most useful way to use this rare opportunity when you have the attention of the director of the National Library, right? I hope you all realize that. I mean, maybe this person would be thrilled to learn how to edit Wikipedia, but it is a lot more likely that they would not be personally interested in editing, but, or maybe they would be, but anyway, a much more impactful thing we can do is talk to them about the kinds of partnerships that we want to see with the National Library, what we can do together, what librarians and Wikimedians can do together, the kinds of things we can do together, the resources of the library that the library can bring from their side and the resources that we Wikimedians can bring from our side, right? That would have been a much more impactful conversation to have with the director of the National Library, but that Wikipedian literally couldn't think of, like, well, what else is there to talk about? Like, I'm teaching this person to edit Wikipedia like I teach everyone else. Do you see what I'm saying? It was, I call it a failure of the imagination, right? They literally couldn't think of any other way to interact with this master librarian, with this director of the National Library, than to treat him like he came to an editing workshop. So I hope that was a helpful example of how your session could give people with less experience talking to librarians, or even generally to, to people in suits, right? How to approach it, how to speak in a way that engages librarians, that talks about what they care about. For example, librarians care about authority control, right? They care about provenance. They care about knowing that the data is reliable and where it's coming from. These are terms that are not familiar to the average Wikimedian. And so again, this bridging between the cultures is a big service that you can do, I think, in your talk. And again, I'm saying all of this just based on the purpose that we have discussed. I don't know actually what you have to share, but I'm offering this as a useful angle, considering the purpose and the audience that is likely to be at WikiIndaba.
Thank you so much, Asaf. I think that was really helpful, and one of the core concept of our presentation. It's really more on partnership and collaboration. How can we bridge this gap between Wikimedian and librarians? So thank you so much for that.
Excellent, great.
Okay, so Asaf, you'll get tired of me. I'm bringing some other use cases to you, and I'll say some names too. So far we've talked about the presentations and the panels, but then there's also a very specific group of individuals who have lightning talks. And in my experience, it can go one of either ways. It can either go very well or it can go south. And what are some of the pitfalls to avoid when designing something for a lightning talk? Quera Faith, I see that you are here, and I know that you will have a lightning talk in person in South Africa. Would you want to share the ideas that you have about your lightning talk and then receive some feedback or advice?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Alice, and thank you very much, Asaf, for this communication you have so far brought to us. Yeah, so based on what Alice has mentioned, in retrospect, what she's talking about to the lightning talk, there has been a new project in Uganda, which was introduced to the community by Alice and our ED, Geoffrey Katerega, and it's called Wiki for Boxing. So basically what we are trying to do is to encourage other communities to take on new projects like ours. For example, Wiki for Boxing is a new project, and understanding the dynamics and conceptualizing the dynamics behind that is what we are going to be talking about. Yes, Alice. Does that make any sense?
What can we expect to see in the lightning talk, or as you're preparing? Is there anything that you're not so sure about that you can get feedback from, or on rather?
Could you tell me something about what Wiki for Boxing is? I don't know what that means.
Oh yeah. Wait, tell us.
Yeah, Wiki for Boxing is a project that is under Wiki Soccerthon, and it's a project that enhances content about boxing. Yeah, so in our country, boxing was one of the sports that was the first to be introduced in Uganda. So we didn't have a lot of communication, or we didn't have a lot of data about boxing until now. So you do realize that Wikipedia used not to write about it a lot, and therefore there was a content gap. And so by bridging that content gap is where the birth of Wikipedia for boxing came into light. Yes.
Thank you. So would you like to share the outline for your talk or the purpose, what you're thinking about?
Yes, the outline for this is basically to sorry. So the outline for this is to basically share some of the experiences we've gotten as a user group and a small user group at that. And considering it's a new project on board, some of the reasons as to why I would bring this up is to understand the dynamics that have been happening in Uganda for that matter, and also bring it forward to other communities. So the reasons as, hello? Hello?
Yes. Okay, I understand. So you want to share lessons learned from your work, and you also want to get other communities involved in this, covering this content gap about the sport of boxing. Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Out of Africa and in Africa.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
again, these are two purposes. It's okay to have two purposes for your talk, but again, just keep them in mind, and you should be able to look at your eventual slides and say which slide serves which purpose. You should have a very clear sense of what in your materials is serving which serving which purpose, like which sentences, which slides are serving which purpose. So if you say you want to use, let's say, half of your time to introduce the project, again, many people haven't heard of it at all. So you introduce the project, you give some hook, some statistics about how little content there is about boxing or African boxing or Ugandan boxing in particular. You have their attention, you share some lessons about what you've done and what you've learned from it, and then you switch, you use the rest of your time in a different tone, in a different vibe to say, now we want you to participate. Here's how, here's where, here's a template, here's a, whatever you have, right? Here is an example of how we made a list of missing topics. Here are our training materials that maybe you want to reuse, right? Like offer people an onboard ramp, right? Offer them a way to easily, attractively join your particular project. That, again, that's a different kind of talk. You can do both in the same session. I'm just saying these are different purposes that require a kind of different tone and approach.
Okay, so I had already sent in my slides. So I'll look at that information and deliberate on very many executions, on the executions you provided. Thank you, Asaf, and thank you, Alice, for that.
You are welcome, Faith, and we look forward to seeing you. Obviously, I have a vested interest in the outcome of this lightning talk, but I'm glad that at least you've been able to receive feedback. Okay. So it is 10 minutes to the top
Allô?
of the hour. Yes, hello, Fatima.
Ok, thank you, Alice.
Bonjour, Fatima.
J'ai une question.
Yes, go ahead.
Ok. Alors, la première remarque, bon, tout à l'heure, Assaf disait que, par exemple, Martin ne s'adresse pas forcément aux bibliothécaires, mais quand même, dans le programme, la plupart des présentations des bibliothécaires se font à la même heure. À l'heure où Alice présente, nous aussi, on a une présentation. À l'heure où Martin présente, nous aussi, on a une présentation. Et on aimerait bien écouter ce que nos collègues vont présenter. Ça, c'était la première remarque. La deuxième, c'est une question. Nous, on a une présentation qui s'appelle Flash Lecture. Donc, dans l'idée, c'est que tout le monde, que tous les participants viennent lire des articles Wikipédia, des documents Wikipédia dans leur langue locale. Et voilà, nous, quand on a vu ça dans le programme, on l'a mis dans une salle, ça doit se faire dans une salle. On avait demandé à le faire dans un espace ouvert parce que c'est de la lecture déambulatoire. Les gens vont lire, bouger pendant 5 minutes. Donc là aussi, on aimerait avoir plus d'informations, comment ça va se passer réellement. Nous, la manière dont on le voit, dont on l'a prévu, est-ce que ce sera réellement ça une fois sur place? Merci beaucoup.
I'm sorry, I don't think I understand. How is what going to look?
D'accord. Alors, notre présentation s'appelle un flash lecture. Alice sait de quoi je parle. C'est une activité qu'on organise régulièrement dans les bibliothèques où les participants, c'est-à-dire nous organisons, mais le public, les gens qui vont venir, tout le monde va prendre son téléphone, sa machine pour lire un article Wikipédia dans sa langue locale. Et dans notre proposition, on a voulu le faire à l'extérieur. Peut-être que ce ne sera pas possible de se déplacer et autres, mais si on a moyen de le faire dans un endroit ouvert, ce serait bien pour avoir l'œil des autres, pour que les autres puissent bien voir l'activité. Donc, tout le monde va
I
prendre
don't
son
understand.
téléphone,
What does
bouger.
it mean? What does it mean to do it outside?
C'est juste la lecture qu'on va faire à
Ah,
l'extérieur.
okay,
Voilà.
got it.
On va lire à haute voix à l'extérieur pendant 5 minutes. Et dans le programme, on a mentionné que ça se fera dans une salle. L'idée, c'est d'avoir plus de monde, que les gens se posent la question, qu'est-ce qu'ils sont en train de faire? Nous sommes en train de lire des articles dans notre langue locale. Chaque personne va venir lire quelque chose dans sa langue locale. Je ne sais pas si je me fais comprendre.
Okay, I understand. I think this is a question about the logistics of the actual conference. So maybe best for Alice or someone from the organizers to answer.
All right. So if it is about the logistics of the space, I like to think that I fully understood the proposal and the idea, and it is interactive. So I don't think there are any slides for it, but it's just to engage the audience in being able to read a selected text in their particular language. And for the logistics of this is adequately provided for.
Okay.
The
The one
space
thing
is there, the equipment is there.
the one thing I would add is that you need to pick an article that has content in as many African languages as possible, so that the largest number of people in the room will be able to read something in their local language, unless the point you want to make is precisely that there isn't that content available in that language. But just be aware of what you pick and how it serves your demonstration goal.
Oui, en fait, je ne suis pas sûre de me faire comprendre. Ce que je veux dire, les gens, ils sont libres de choisir l'article qui les intéresse. L'essentiel, c'est de lire à haute voix. Tout le monde va marcher, on va bouger entre nous. Et pendant 5 minutes, on va lire à haute voix un article wiki qu'on aura choisi nous-mêmes, que ce soit dans la langue maternelle, la
Oh,
langue
okay.
parlée, entre autres.
Okay.
OK, merci.
Right. So Asaf, there are some flowers for you in the chat area. Carol says you have really taught us many good things today, and that she's not even a speaker, but she's grateful to be here. I think she left out a bit of in your presence, and she has learned a lot about public speaking. So there are your flowers, Asaf.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, any solicitations? Asaf, are our participants able to reach out to you individually after this, if it will help anything, or is there a time frame for this, in addition to the resources that you had shared before?
Yes, you are welcome to reach out to me, but help me help you. So I'm not able to write your talks for you or make slides for you. I am able to help you think through a particular problem you may have, or to review your outline and tell you if it makes sense or if I understand what you're trying to convey. I'm happy to do that. Before you reach out to me, please make sure that you have watched the training, that you have gone through the PDF guidebook, because really it covers a lot of the material that I covered today and more. And after that, if you would like a human like me to go over what you have prepared, or to look at a particular slide you're having problem with, etc., then I'm happy to help. Let me write my email here. It's just asaf@wikimedia.org. You're welcome to reach out.
Thank you very much, Asaf. Thank you for sharing your contact, but also sharing your time. So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. This is one of the greatest resources that we have. I have benefited a lot from Asaf's training in the years. The bad things that you have seen, those are the parts when he didn't know me. But after that, when I got trained by Asaf, I like to think that my presentations improved. And I hope it will be the same story for very many of us. So in the event that you are not able to speak up here, or you felt you didn't have the time, or you were just shy, please reach out to Asaf. He's been able to share his email address in the chat area. And as we think more about how we are going to participate, how we are going to interact, I would like to invite you for another day tomorrow, with another pre-conference day tomorrow, where we talk about, or we have conversations related to the Africa agenda. I think very many of us have become acquainted with the Africa agenda through the Africa Baraza sessions, where we have been talking about how we can move forward as a community in Africa. What are some of the changes at the global level that are affecting us as individuals who live in Africa, participating in the Wikimedia movement and contributing to the wider community? Conversations about how we contribute, the level and quality of our participation, how we can relate all those things to presentations that we are seeing in international conferences. So tomorrow we will have the second day of the pre-conference session. A second day of a pre-conference. And this pre-conference is going to be led by the Africa Baraza team. I think CESLAUS will be a big player in this. So we are going to look at two things specifically. We will look at steps towards implementing the Africa agenda. And if you don't have it, we will be sharing it with you. Or CESLAUS, you can share that with us. And then we have a trivia session with very, very, how can I say, rich prizes. And then we will also look at the proposed changes to resource distribution in Africa. And whoever is leading that session will be looking for your feedback and your input. So it is in your best interest to actually turn up for this session. This session will be in both French and English, so we will be catered for, and it will be recorded. And we will start half an hour earlier than we did today. But back to the main point, I would like to thank you once again for sparing time to be with us, sharing some of the things that we are going to see in WikiIndaba, staying with us for this long because it is a weekday and there were so many other competing interests, but here you are with us. I hope this session has been impactful. I hope this session has opened our eyes to a certain degree, and I invite you all to celebrate um, uh, 10 years of the existence of WikiIndaba, and our live or in-person sessions will kick off next Friday. So there's still time to get acquainted with the program and curate the program that you want to for yourself during WikiIndaba. So one and all, I thank you and I hope that we will meet tomorrow. See you all, and the link remains the same. See you.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Asaf.
The meeting host, can you please end the live stream or end the meeting so that the live stream can stop?